Hi guys, it's Jerningam. We're going to be talking about Boris's more cuts. He's going to put more prisons in the UK, more money in the NHS and everything else. And we're going to put anyway. We're going to get into this and watch this.
More prisons, longer jail sentences, extra powers for the police, a new government wanting to be tough on crime and tough on criminals.
As we're recruiting 20,000 more police officers, we need them to be out making sure that those that want to do harm are prevented from doing harm.
Labour says a rise in violent crime has been caused by Conservative cuts.
It's great to finally see the government waking up and seeing that knife crime and law and order is a huge issue on the streets of this country. But after 9 years of Tory austerity, it's not a surprise that we've seen the criminal justice system on its knees.
Boris Johnson is promising 10,000 more prison places, costing £2.5 billion. An end to automatic release after serving half a jail sentence for violent criminals, and extending stop and search powers for the police. Ken Hines works with young people trying to steer them away from crime. He's concerned that extending stop and search powers will damage community relations with the police.
What young people are saying, they're not against stop and search. They're against the overzealousness, the aggression that's been used disproportionately when they're doing this stop and search on innocent people.
You seem to be saying that stop and search is a tool, but not a strategy.
That's absolutely right.
Overcrowding in prisons and staff cuts have been blamed for violence, as we saw when rioting broke out inside Birmingham jail in 2016. But it could take a decade to deliver the promised 10,000 new prison places. Today's promises are meant to deal with long-standing law and order problems. They also mean a new Prime Minister and government may well be judged harshly if they fail to deliver anything but headlines.
Interesting. Wonder if that would probably work. Let's see if that actually works, but we never know. Still more kicking off in Hong Kong, protesting.
The day started with thousands of residents marching through the streets, but soon protesters decided to switch locations, chanting their anger as they went. Roadblocks were created and standoffs began. Police raised banners warning they had tear gas and telling protesters to disperse. Their patience soon ran thin. Before long, the riot police went on the offensive. Media observers were either caught in the crossfire or deliberately targeted. And on the ground, the barricades were charged as the protesters began to retreat. At Kwai Fong, in the middle of a shopping district, tear gas was fired into the train station in what seemed to be an attempt to flush the demonstrators out. And soon, protesters were being rounded up. This man is saying he's sorry and pleading with police to stop pressing down on his head. One woman, a regular demonstrator known as Grandma Wong, appears to be in distress, her Union flag leaning against the wall behind her. At Hong Kong Airport, a mass occupation reached its third day as protesters try to spread the word about their demands to the world. This disruption was originally an outpouring of anger over a law which would allow Hong Kong residents to be extradited to China. The authorities say the proposal's been scrapped, but the demonstrators want the resignation of the province's chief executive and an investigation into the activities of the riot police. More than a dozen people have already been arrested this weekend. After today, that number will be higher. Bringing peace to Hong Kong's streets looks a long way off. ITV News.
The whole world's getting worse by the looks of things. The whole world's a mess. Just thinking what to put on next to show on YouTube.
It was the middle of the night, but the streets of Atenara were illuminated with an eerie glow from the fires on hillsides all around the town. Some came out onto their balconies to watch the flames as they came ever closer to this community in the northwest of Gran Canaria.
Looks like some kind of fire.
When I opened the door, I saw the smoke, and I realized the town would have to be evacuated. Around 1,000 people had to be moved out of the town. The drive down the mountain to safety showing just how serious the fire had become. The order to evacuate came at 2 a.m, says the deputy mayor. We cleared the town neighbourhood by neighbourhood. By the morning, it seemed the worst might be over, but high winds combined with high temperatures to reignite the flames. More than 200 firefighters have been brought in to help with the operation. By this afternoon, Gran Canaria Fire Brigade were tweeting, "We are overwhelmed by the situation."
Today
we have asked for extra help to bring the fire under control. Right now we must be clear it is not under control. It's true we said the situation was getting better, but that was last night.
The speed of the evacuation meant some spent the night in churches. They're now preparing for a second night away from home as firefighters battle to bring the wildfires under control. Juliet Bremner, ITV News.
Well, you don't see fires every day, but trying to find more news to show, but there's always news on the TV, isn't there?
We might not learn the truth of what happened inside Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center until the investigations are over. That hasn't stopped the speculation and anger swirling. That such a high-profile inmate as Jeffrey Epstein was able to apparently take his own life weeks after attempting suicide has raised questions about how he was being monitored.
I would want updates on him multiple times a day. And if my chief psychologist, the program coordinator, was contemplating taking the inmate off suicide, I would certainly expect that issue to be discussed among the facility's executive staff. This is a huge black eye on the U.S. Department of Justice, and more specifically the Bureau of Prisons.
There's anger, too, that Epstein, facing charges of the sex trafficking of underage girls, will not now face his accusers in court, not least from Democrats running for president.
The system broke down here. He should have been held for trial, and his victim should have had a chance to testify against him.
And in a letter to the Attorney General, Republican Senator Ben Sasse wrote, "The Department of Justice failed, and today Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators think they might have just gotten one last sweetheart deal. Every single person in the Justice Department, from your main Justice Headquarters staff all the way to the night shift jailer, knew that this man was a suicide risk and that his dark secrets couldn't be allowed to die with him." Prosecutors say the investigations will continue into a man who counted the likes of Bill Clinton and Donald Trump as friends. The case has threatened to implicate prominent names from the worlds of business and politics, among them his friend the Duke of York. In court documents released in the US in the last few days, the prince was accused of inappropriate behaviour towards two women. He was with the Queen at Balmoral this weekend. Buckingham Palace says any suggestion of impropriety with underage minors is categorically untrue. The conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein's death have been fueled even by presidential retweet of accusations against the Clintons. It is filling the void for Americans wondering how a man facing so many questions could be allowed to escape providing the answers. Greg Milam, Sky News, Los Angeles.
Well,
Kashmir is ours, they're shouting. There are almost daily demonstrations in the Pakistan area of Kashmir. And there are rising concerns about the mass arrests across the line of control in the Indian-administered side. Political leaders, activists and academics have been rounded up over the past few weeks and months and are now being held in Indian jails. Yasin Malik is one, a popular separatist Kashmiri leader seen here at one of his court appearances in India. His wife now says he's critically ill.
This clampdown is unbelievable, and when my sister-in-law, mother-in-law, they meet him, it's just like he's locked up in a glass room, and they were telling me that he can't even get up. I mean, he is so weak, and doctors from Tihar have also said that he must be shifted to an ICU. I mean, and his previous doctors, his cardiologists, his kidney specialists, have all said that he is going to die like this.
Michelle made a birthday video for him centered around the couple's young child. In 10 years of marriage, she spent only 60 days with him because of his continual arrests. The Indians call him a terrorist, although he has friends in high places in Pakistan. His partner insists he's a freedom fighter who's renounced violence and is an example of what's happening to all Kashmiris now.
He's given his youth, his blood, everything, and his only hope is that the world will come forward. So time is running short. So I appeal to the world, to especially the permanent 5 countries and the United Nations Security Council, that, wake up. This is not a time of statements. We have to stop this. And if you see the situation at the LOC, the cluster bombs, it's non-stop. And it's aggravating day by day, day by day.
The Pakistan authorities produced these pictures as evidence they found cluster bombs, which they blame on India for firing. They want Kashmir discussed by the UN Security Council as a matter of urgency. The crisis coincides with the appearance of the Indian Prime Minister on a survival TV program fronted by British adventurer Bear Grylls.
My job is to keep you alive.
It's already caused controversy because of the timing, with some Indian opposition politicians suggesting Prime Minister Modi was filming it at the time of the mass killing of Indian soldiers in Pulwama and Kashmir. Patriotic fervour is sweeping both countries ahead of separate Independence Day celebrations this week. Kashmir will overshadow it all. Alex Crawford, Sky News, Islamabad.
I'm in very deep thought today, guys. I don't know why. I keep thinking all sorts of things, I'm always thinking of the next video, what to do on YouTube. What I like to do is videos about things. Everybody has a hobby, don't they? And enjoys doing stuff. Still trying to find something to show, but I've always shown the news on here and what's going on here. I might just leave it in this broadcast and do a different broadcast later or something, because I've done a few streams today. I think I'll leave it at this for now, guys. I'm just flicking through my YouTube and seeing what's on my YouTube. There's a lot of things on there. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share these videos with friends, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace. See that, guys. Peace. As one would say to me now, I will be back.